Marvel is mutant-tastic. We ponder, is it possible to OD on geekery? And finally, we've got a story about a nuclear vessel. I got to say nuclear vessel. That's all on Slice today.
Covering all the news from every dark corner of the universe. SliceofSciFi.com.
Greetings, Slice of Sci-Fi people, things out there. I'm Michael Armenenge.
I am Noah Richman.
I am the red velvet cake monster. I'm Sam Roberts.
And
she took mine. I'm Megan Zier.
All right, let's get to some news.
And now the news.
It's way better than the Cookie Monster.
It is. Cake Monster always rules.
So it looks like a lot of Marvel mutants will be on the big screen in the near future.
Yeah.
We've got
Holy cow.
Wolverine opening later this month.
Mm-hmm.
X-Men Days of Future Past is happening. Now comes word that Jeff Wadlow, who penned the script for Kick-Ass 2, is working on a script for an X-Factor movie.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
I have that one. I have that issue.
Yeah?
Really? Is
it your actual? No, I'm kidding. According to The Hollywood Reporter, X-Men producer Lauren Schuler Donner is working as a producer on the project. The news comes on the heels of various blogs reporting Friday that the studio registered X-Forcemovie.com a few months ago. X-Force, created by Rob Liefeld, was a spin-off from Marvel Comics' flagship Uncanny X-Men, released in 1991. Its first issue set records when it sold 5 million copies.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
That record was surpassed later that year when X-Men #1, drawn by Jim Lee, sold 8 million issues. The original lineup of the team comprised several characters from the first Uncanny X-Men spin-off, The New Mutants, teens who had matured into young adults. Also in the lineup was Cable, a military leader from the future who is related to X-Men heroes Cyclops and Jean Grey. His body is enhanced with robotic parts, and he has telekinetic powers as well.
Also
Brawn
big freaking
and
huge
brains. Big guns. Can't go wrong with big guns. Now, X-Force...
It was the 90s.
X-Force has been rebooted a couple of times in the past decade, and there are now 2 comics in the marketplace, Uncanny X-Force and Cable and X-Force.
Oh, they're both good.
So, movie maybe. That's nice.
That's going to be huge, though, because X-Force is gigantic. I mean, that universe is... It's as big as the X-Men universe, and then some, because they've got other characters that they brought in that are beyond the X-Men characters.
Right, but here's the interesting thing is there's a little note here behind the scenes stuff. Remember, movie rights for X-Men and most of the mutants are owned by Fox, not Marvel Studios.
Yep.
So we might not see the main... So we may see a whole new group come in.
Well,
No, I think it's the same as with the X-Men. Like, the X-Men can't be in the Avengers. So now these guys, they can't be in any of the Marvel.
Whole separate X-Men universe.
Any in the Disney movies, they're not going to be in.
Right?
Wow.
So they own not only the X-Men, but they own X-Force, X-Factor, all those mutants.
Yeah. Well, the other thing I have to wonder is, I just remember for me with the comic books, I was reading X-Men back in the day, and then when they started spinning off all this other stuff, I just said, forget about it.
Too much.
You know,
you and I are on opposite ends of that spectrum.
She's like, more mutants!
Yes, please!
Well, the universe is so gigantic. I mean, there's a lot of area to play in, and it'd be nice if they actually did go away from the regular group and show us some of the others. Because there's some of the ancillary X-Men are fantastic.
And that's what's so, like, depressing for me, for Fox having the mutants. Because if they got all of the mutants with the X-Men, for a long time, mutants was like a go-to to give your new superhero powers. Like, forget the origin story. They were born with it. They're mutants.
Right.
So they get all of those mutants because of the X-Men. That's crazy.
It is crazy.
That's just wrong. That's just wrong. Okay, I'm sad now. We should take a break.
Oh, are we taking a break with Archery?
Yes.
Because that's the thing around the studio lately is the new show Knockout. That's N-O-C-K. Everybody loves Archery from Hunger Games, Hawkeye, Arrow. Well, we're going to get to see it on the NBC Sports Channel July 26th. So check out the groovy promo.
Here's what's happening.
So, can I say before we get into news that we talk a lot about the guy who shoots the bow and arrow with his foot, Matt Stutzman, but I want an honorable mention for the guy named Rowdy Dowdy.
Yes.
Rowdy Dowdy. Awesome. And again, I've derailed Noah. I'm so sorry.
Noah,
I'm so
that's
science.
awesome.
Okay, so following Rowdy Dowdy and the guy, the guy shooting arrows with his feet, this summer has been a veritable feast of genre offerings.
Oh, it has.
Yes.
From successes like Iron Man 3, Star Trek Into Darkness, Man of Steel, and others. However, other big-budget genre films are not doing as well in the theaters. With Will Smith's After Earth, well, yeah, we all know who directed that, and Guillermo del Toro's. Notice how it's Will Smith's After Earth.
Good point.
Yeah, I know. I think that's a disservice to Will Smith, honestly, because Will is.
I don't
much
know.
better.
If he was the driving force.
It was his story.
I know.
Him and his son pitched that story, and were dumb enough to give it to Shamalama Ding Dong.
I know. That's where I was going with that.
And Pacific Rim doing poorly. Now, I think the verdict is still out on Pacific Rim.
I was going to say.
I hope it has legs.
I think it could have a comeback.
Word of mouth.
Yeah, because even if it isn't like a slam dunk at the domestic box office, it's definitely one that it's doing better already overseas, and it's the kind of movie that would have more.
I think DVD sales are going to be huge.
The problem is, much like the movie you're about to mention, Lone Ranger, it was very expensive to make, and so it has to make big bucks in order to even break even.
Yeah, well, that's certainly true. And well, Lone Ranger, that was just kind of a foregone.
Yeah.
Was it? I don't know. I was kind of
I thought it
really
would be kind of
excited to go and see it. I thought that it was going to be a much bigger hit, actually.
I did too, because and I still think it's
especially because it was a Disney movie. I thought a lot of more families would go.
People thought because it's got Disney and because it has Johnny Depp, but it had a few things working against it. One, it was people thought it was too long. Gore Verbinski did not edit himself. It was like over 2.5 hours or something ridiculous. Two, there was some controversy around Johnny Depp and him playing a Native American. And three, Westerns don't play well overseas, and most big box office now is really like given a leg up by all the overseas receipts.
Well, and then last week Jeannie pointed out that it's up really against like Despicable Me and Monsters University.
True.
And
So
Better
I always
Family
forgot
stuff.
about that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess for me, I come back to what I said last time, which is you don't throw that kind of budget at a Western. I mean, like
You do if you want, if you really believe in it.
You know, I love spaghetti westerns. You know, but they should not be. You should not be budgeting them more than $20 million.
And remember, we did stories when that thing was first greenlit and in production that they killed it and they weren't going to do it
That's
because
true.
Gore Verbinski had too big a budget and was going way too overboard. And then there was some serious renegotiation with everybody, and they knocked it down to where it ended up, which was around $200 million.
Well, I
so
think
it was more expensive when he first started.
I think the point, the rest of this story, which is the biggest point, is have we hit geek saturation?
Saturation.
There is
No.
so much stuff that's come out this summer. I mean, is it that there's just so many movies to choose from that everybody kind of dined on the first ones and then kind of fell flat
I
on
don't
the
think
others?
so, and
You don't
here's
think so?
why. Because there's reasons you can point to while the flops are flops, right? And so After Earth, right, the obvious one is M. Night Shyamalan, and it just didn't get very good reviews, right? And so as much as I love Pacific Rim and think it's fantastic and everybody should see it, what it didn't have that Transformers had was people's childhood.
That's
true.
true.
You had a much larger immediate audience for that even if people aren't grown-up sci-fi geeks, they played with those toys as children or they saw the cartoons and they wanted to see it.
That's true.
Right? So there was no built-in audience for Pacific Rim like that. It's much more niche the manga, the kaiju, the robot stuff.
And then the other thing, and we already said this in North America, people, you know, fair or not, and I know it's not fair, look at it as a ripoff of Transformers.
That's
Yeah,
true,
it's weird.
and it is totally unfair because it's not Transformers. Transformers is a ripoff of this in the broader spectrum of
That's
scheme
true.
of things.
But the wider audience you need for that to be a hit doesn't know that. They have
Right,
different
exactly.
notions. And so I think there's reasons for each of these bombs or failures or doing poorly. So I don't think it's necessarily geek saturation because you're going to see other stuff coming up.
Yeah, for me, what I'm going to be really interested to see is if it's good, and this is a big if, but if it's good, how well the Wolverine does.
Right.
Because to me, that would be a mark of whether or not it's geek saturation.
I think that's true, because also
That's
that
true. I
has a
didn't think
built-in
about that.
wider audience, because X-Men was successful. Hugh
Plus it's
Jackman is
Wolverine.
huge. People love him, right? Like, regardless of whether they're a sci-fi fan or not. So that has, I think, a built-in wider audience.
That's true.
Well, folks, what do you think? Call us. You know the numbers. 206-339-TREK. That's 206-339-8735. Use our cool iPhone app and send us some video as well.
Yes, please.
Absolutely.
Oh, wait, hold on. Wasn't there also Summer wrote an article about this, right? On
Yeah.
the website?
Oh, that's
You know what?
true.
She had a really great review of Pacific Rim on there.
Of Pacific Rim, yeah, absolutely.
I would recommend checking it out.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah, I was going to say, if people were concerned about the box office for Pacific Rim, it's probably just not enough people read Summer's article yet. That's gonna
There
pick
you
up
go.
after that.
That'll do it.
We just need to get that out there more. So here on Slice, we're always on the lookout for when our favorite fandoms start to merge over into reality and sci-fi becomes science fact. What we do tend to forget is with the rich history of fiction, this is far from a new thing, which brings us to the sad news of this story. Vice Admiral Eugene P. Wilkinson passed away July 11th. Wilkinson was the first commanding officer of the USS Nautilus, the world's first nuclear-powered submarine. Wilkinson commanded the boat as she set many records for distance traveled, speed, and depths reached. By the time this 3-year tour aboard the USS Nautilus ended, did we have to say 3-year tour? Because I immediately think
3-hour tour.
Dun, 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 dun,
Exactly. And we don't want to equate Gilligan's Island with this coolness.
dun. No, this is way cool.
Yeah. So by the time that 3-year tour was done, she had broken a milestone laid down by her fictional predecessor, the also electrically powered Nautilus from Jules Verne's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, when the naval vessel passed her 60,000th nautical mile. Verne's submarine ran using batteries to power its electrical systems, and in the story was showing changes in both how warfare and peace could possibly be changing in the future. Submarine warfare was brought to new heights in Verne's novel, and yet Captain Nemo was also wanting a more peaceful world and use of untapped resources like the crew's undersea farming.
Absolutely, something that we have yet to
Yet.
really do well.
And we're probably not going to if monsters are popping up out of rifts in the ocean. Yeah. So, like the fictional Nautilus, the USS Nautilus paved the way for changes not only in warfare, but the technologies that went into the power plant had an impact on the use of nuclear power for more peaceful endeavors. You can tour the USS Nautilus and learn more about our military and science exploration of the oceans at the Submarine Force Library and Museum in Groton, Connecticut.
Yes.
That's cool. I mean,
something
it's
like
sad he passed away, but what a,
Yeah, and we have a really cool little video package here on this as well.
check it out.
Welcome to All Hands Update. I'm Petty Officer Andrew Johnson with your headlines from around the fleet. Vice Admiral Eugene Wilkinson, commanding officer of the first nuclear-powered submarine USS Nautilus and cruiser USS Long Beach, died July 11th. Wilkinson is remembered as a pioneer of nuclear power. His leadership of the Navy's first nuclear-powered vessels fundamentally changed the way we fight from the sea. Effective immediately, anyone sending mail to Navy mobile units must use a 9-digit zip code to ensure delivery. The United States Postal Service is implementing new automated mail sorting to increase efficiency as it downsizes from 2 coastal locations to 1 central location in Chicago. Refer to AllNav 047/13 for more details about the change. You can read more about these stories at Navy.mil. From All Hands Update, thanks for watching.
That's actually very cool.
I didn't know they had their own little news show.
I know. That's really cool.
Speaking of their own little news show.
Yeah, we have our own little news show inside of our little news show.
It's nearing the end of the broadcast day, and the Multiverse News Network will now fulfill its public service requirement by providing this call-in show for listeners with problems. And now we take you to Ask Zatras.
Welcoming yourself to Ask Zatras. All lines are open. Call Zatras. Zatras will fix. Caller, welcome. How can Zatras help?
Yeah. Well, I'm a Castathin and I'm in love with a human, but my father doesn't approve.
Zatras understand. Everyone always coming to Zatras with problems. Big responsibility. Zatras does not mind. Zatras trained in crisis management.
So when do I get to talk to Zatras?
Zatras is listening.
Yeah, but can I talk directly to Zatras?
Zatras talks to you, or to walls, or to ceilings, or to dirt. Zatras likes dirt.
Wait, so Zatras is saying I'm dirt?
Dirt is used to everyone walking on it.
Oh, so Zatras is saying I need to stop letting my father walk all over me and stand up for myself?
Zatras fix everything. Good.
Yeah, that's fine, but I don't understand why Zatras thinks he's too good to talk to me directly. Wait a minute. Are you Zatras?
Only Zatras is Zatras.
Well, if he won't talk to me, then Zatras is an arrogant piece of stocko.
Zatras is used to it. Next caller. What can Zatras fix?
Dobby must speak with Zatras right away.
Zatras is listening. Tell Dobby not being shy and ask Zatras.
Tell Zatras that Dobby will only speak directly to Zatras.
Zatras cannot fixing unless Dobby tells Zatras problem.
Zatras won't talk to Dobby. Zatras is like everyone else. Zatras treats Dobby like an insect.
Ah, Zatras likes insects. Not so good for conversation, but much protein for diet. Good.
Zatras wants to eat Dobby.
Time for fixing is now gone. Zatras alone. Zatras start show alone, Zatras end show alone. But at least is symmetry. Maybe Zatras will call Zatras.
And that concludes our broadcast. For those of you playing Farpoint Bingo, if you understood all of tonight's references, you get a triple nerd score and have earned the Triangular Defiant Babylonian Wizard badge, which easily fits in your Square Geek Hole badge.
Here's what's happening.
That's the best one ever.
Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm gonna hyperventilate.
She really did. She was making these breathing noises. It was hilarious.
Oh God. Okay.
That element has just completely derailed the show. I don't know what I'm doing next.
I know.
What the hell am I
Zatras and
doing?
Dobby and Zatras and
Third person. Woo!
Oh my God. Let's just do some voicemail.
Right.
Well,
Right.
before we start voicemail, I do have an email here.
Oh, there you go.
So this came in from Douglas Pavick.
Okay.
And he says, "Hello, Slicers. Doug from Minneapolis here. Up in the northern reaches of Wisconsin, I found this on the roadside. It looks like the Ferengi have already made it to Earth."
Human's Resort.
Human's Resort.
It's how I imagine Quark spelling human.
I
Later.
would go with it.
Seriously, it's awesome.
That is awesomeness.
Humans.
Hey, Slices and Mike from Des Moines. My niece just got her cat chip. I was wondering, is it going to turn into a transformer robot, or is it now part of the Skynet? Just wondering. Have a good one. Bye.
So I'm going to say Gozer's been chipped too, and if Gozer's in on something, it's probably evil and therefore Skynet.
I think they're going to have interconnection and they're just going to take over the world.
It's possible.
That's just.
Or all the pets are going to come together like Transformers.
Which is also really terrifying.
No, that's not Transformers. That's what's the one where the lions come together? That's
Voltron.
Thank you. I couldn't. I had a moment there. I couldn't remember it.
Hey, Slice of Sci-Fi, Steffi from Long Beach calling in, and something interesting happened to me this weekend.
Oh, good.
Since it was a holiday weekend, my family and I decided to go to the movie theater and check out a couple of shows.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the internet to find the local show times, and my mom went to the newspaper. And come to find out, they had different times listed. The newspaper listed later times than what was on the internet. So we go to the theater and notice that the marquee lists the same times as the internet. No real surprise there.
Sure.
We go to the film. We sit through the 20-minute first look of advertising TV shows and whatnot. Then we sit through all the local dentistry ads and please turn off
Those are
your
my
cell
favorite parts.
phone. But first use our app and text to see what your phone is streaming and crap like that. Use your phone, but remember to turn it off ads. Then we sat through all the trailers. And you know what time the movie actually was? Shut up! Plus or minus a couple of minutes from what was listed in the paper.
Really?
So it might be worth the extra $1.50 or whatever to get an actual paper out of the newsstand if you don't like sitting through all the ads.
That's brilliant.
I don't know if it's the situation everywhere or just the local Regal I went to, but might be worth looking into.
It's
fascinating.
Actually, that's an interesting idea. I wonder why nobody's thought of that. Or
Someone
if
needs
they
to
have,
test it.
If they have, I don't see it anywhere. Where
Calling all science geeks. We need more data.
We need more data.
Scientific method. Pull it out.
There should be. I mean, you could. Somebody should build an app. What time does the movie really start?
That's a great idea.
Oh, and then
also.
take business away from the newspaper. That's just cruel.
Well, okay, fine. Do it. Have the newspaper
I mean,
be the
they're
ones doing it.
dying
I don't
anyway.
care. I don't care who's doing it, but somebody give me the actual time the movie starts, because there's a lot of times that it's like last minute. I want to go see a movie, and I look at the times, and it's like, oh, it starts in 15 minutes. I can't really make that. But if
you
it's
probably could.
I
if you
probably
didn't care.
could if it was 35 minutes away
Right.
or 40 minutes away with all the commercials and ads. What time's the movie really start? You could still get there, get in, and probably bypass a lot of the crap in front of it.
You know, last time I actually went out to the theater, I timed it when they, when they started showing, when the movie was supposed to start. I timed it from like the listed time until the movie started, and it was 20 minutes.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
So there's your assignment, people. Go out there.
Go forth and gather data.
Go out there and figure out what time does the movie really start. And that's going to do it for this show. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Of course, we will be back with more very soon. Keep watching the SliceSciFi.tv, SliceSciFi.com. Follow us on Facebook. Please follow us on Facebook. Lots of things happening over there.
Heck yeah.
Great conversations going on that page. If you're not following us or watching us there, you're missing out a lot. And we'll be back soon. Thanks, everyone. Bye.